I'd love to start at the beginning. This is a big year. Cancer and Careers is celebrating its 20th anniversary. And I'd love to just go back to the very beginning and talk about that time in your life and your career and what stands out for you.
You know, at that time, it was very different. People were not talking about and were not open about having cancer. And there were two board members that actually confided in me that they had cancer. And what they talked about is that they had every resource that they could find on the medical part of it. But these were executives, these were working women, and they wanted to continue to work, and they really didn't know anything about what to do. And we found that there really weren't any resources out there. And so it began with what I thought was a very simple idea, was to provide that information for any woman, now it's for men as well, that wanted to continue to work with the diagnosis of cancer. One of the top oncologists said to me, I said, well, is there a need? And she said, well, let me tell you about the questions people ask. The first thing they say is, am I going to live? Mm-hmm. The second thing they said is, can I work?
What was it like to create this organization from scratch?
It was hard, but it was exciting and challenging, and to see it grow and to have the people that work with me. It grew slowly, but it was very meaningful.
You know, I think that one of the things that makes you so extraordinary is that a lot of people have ideas, but you action them, you make it happen.
It was an idea. I didn't know what I didn't know, Jenny. I really didn't. I just thought, well, we can do this. We provide information. We can put it up on the web. And I think it's better sometimes not to know how difficult I have to say. I just think we can do it. I mean, I knew enough that it was an idea. I knew that it was needed. I talked to a lot of people and got their advice. And so I didn't do it totally with my eyes closed, but I believed in it.
What is the relationship between Cancer and Careers and the beauty industry?
There wouldn't be Cancer and Careers unless there was the beauty industry, because they supported us from the beginning. And in fact, 20 years later, from the time we started, we have many of the same sponsors that have believed in what we're doing and have supported it.
So as you look at the organization now and what it began as, like, what are the common threads of the DNA? What hasn't changed?
There's always going to be a need, and there's going to be people with cancer, but more people are going to work. And so that's still going to be the common thread for me.
I think for me, what's so striking is as someone with cancer, you've provided a place to go, but also, for the doctors and nurses and social workers, I think about the education that Cancer and Careers has implemented there. And I think that, from both sides, it really is a much more robust dialogue. This is true. I've told you this many times, but the first place I went after I was diagnosed was Cancer and Careers, just to understand what my rights were, and to have one clearinghouse where I could find out that information, because, it's kind of the last thing that you want to think about. You're thinking about the medical issues.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I need to know what I need to know before I go in and talk to my company. Mm-hmm. And that, I think, is empowering and gives you a sense of control during a time that, everything feels like it's spiraling out of control.
It does, and work does that too. But a lot of companies' response early on was to assume that you weren't going to be able to work, or you didn't want to work because, after all, you had cancer. Where, in fact, it was just the opposite. And they would put people in disability. And what happened is you were removed from the place where you felt good. Mm-hmm. And you had people that were there that cared about you. And that was part of your identity, that the company, they wouldn't have thought of it that way. They thought that they were giving you the time.
Right.
To,
when really what you want to do is maintain your sense of normalcy. Yes.
That you could work and that you could perform.
Do you think about your legacy?
Cancer and Career can't be my legacy because it was created by so many people and inspired by so many people. I had the idea, I wanted to see it grow, but there were other people that were involved in it that made it happen.
Well, 20 amazing years, Carlotta. Congratulations.
I'm overwhelmed by this. I really am.